Good evening, everybody. My name is Eliam Henderson, and today we'll be talking about emergency approaches and landings. There's a variety of emergencies that could happen while we're flying, anything from contaminated fuel, an engine out, icing conditions, even just a sick passenger. So there's certain steps you have to take to be able to have the most successful outcome. An acronym I like to use is ALERTS, and as we keep going, we'll kind of describe what that means. First off, you're going to want to pitch for your best glide. That would be the A for airspeed. In the planes that I fly, it's 75 knots. And then the next thing you're going to want to look for is the L. That's the landing site. And in order of importance, you're first going to want to look for an airport. There's a ton of airports. There's private strips, grass strips, closed strips, and then the big ones that we commonly go to. So look for those first. Nice way to do that would just be direct enter on the GPS, or direct nearest is a helpful thing. If you fly for flight, just being able to see what's near you and in your glide ring, that helps a lot. Then the second one would be a field. Out where I fly in Texas, there's a ton of farmer fields, and most of them are adequate for landing. There's a few that aren't, but you're going to want to land with the furrows, not against them. Pick out one that looks like it's in good shape to land. But if there is furrows, you want to land with the furrows, not against them, where you're going to have speed bumps the whole way down. The third one would be a road. By my airport, there's a huge interstate I-35. That would be probably the closest place to land if something happened where I'm just out of reach of Georgetown Airport. You could land on the road. You want to land with the direction of traffic, not against it. That way you minimize the speeds of cars if they're going to hit you. Going with them rather than against them is better. And then lastly would be trees or water. If there's nowhere to land, you'll want to land in the trees or water. And the best thing to do is slow your plane down as much as you can to reduce the impact. It's usually the G's from the impact that kills people. So get your flaps in, really slow it down as slow as you can, and just kind of float her into the trees. And that's any crash landing in general. You'll want to slow down as much as possible before you hit, to minimize those G loads. Next would be to investigate. So aviate, navigate, investigate, and communicate. So say there's something wrong with the engine, you'll want to investigate that. And the way I do that is I usually go from left to right. I'll start with the magnetos, try different mags, try both mags, see if it comes back to life. From there, the fuel pump, if you have one, you want to make sure that's on. It could be carb ice, maybe turn on the carb heat for a little while, see if that fixes the problem. Mixture, keep it full rich. Maybe you just pulled the mixture back by accident and killed your own engine. Another big, I think it's like 98% of GA crashes are from fuel starvation. So, you could have just dried out one of your tanks. You want to switch tanks if you have that option. And then lastly, the primer. If the primer wasn't in the locked, you want to make sure that's in the locked. And then from there, if nothing worked, you're going to want to communicate your problem. This is all if you have time, of course. And to communicate, ideally, if you're on a channel somebody can help you, like Approach or Tower or something like that, you can just tell them the issue. If you're not and you don't know a proper channel, 121.5 is the guard frequency for emergencies. You can start talking on that and ask for help. And then your transponder, you can squawk a variety of codes for different issues. I remember it as hijack, I can't talk right now, I'm having an emergency. So 7500 is I'm hijacked, 7600 is I've lost comms, and 7700 is you have an emergency and you're going to be making a landing. That's the way I remember that. They're all declaring an emergency. After you communicate, usually you're going to want to tell them your souls, fuel, nature of the emergency, and where to find you. And then lastly, you're going to want to secure everything. So, a lot of this you should have covered in the passenger brief if you had a passenger, but have them know how to get out of the plane and where's the safe places to go, and then secure the rest of the engine. So another issue is if you don't secure the engine, you run the risk of it coming back to life on short final, and that could be a bigger issue for you if there's something you can't outclimb on the other side of the field, say trees. So you're going to want to turn off your fuel, kill your mags, turn everything down, shut everything off, and then ride it out. Besides that, I made these two charts for CFI lessons. if you want to come and zoom in on these, and kind of get a look at those. That's the alerts, and then different diagrams of how to land. Anyway, thanks everybody, and I hope that helps.